You have had a chance to review examples of a strong presentation. Now, you're going to learn the specifics that make a strong presentation. We're going to walk through the consultant's presentation and discuss specifically what makes the presentation so strong. You're going to see examples of a strong presentation juxtaposed with a weak presentation. This will help you identify what to do and what not to do when you're designing in PowerPoint. In this PowerPoint, you'll be able to see the elements of a well-formatted presentation. The title slide is the start of the presentation. The title slide shows the basic color scheme and font that will be used throughout the presentation. This should always be kept consistent. As you look at the following slide, notice the use of minimal text throughout and the use of objects and text. The simple message of this third slide is communicated by the header and the graph. The key message is that the company is in trouble and something needs to change. This slide shows that you can use objects with text to make a clear impact on the viewer. This graph clearly indicates the difference between the target and the fact that Kobe beef is actually in the red. There does not need to be a lot of text to get this message across. With graphs or objects, these simply complement the text. On this slide, the message is costs are too high and revenue is too low. This is another example of how you can use shapes to help highlight the text. Here you can see that cost and revenue are separated into two color blocks. There is more text on this slide, but this body text highlights the losses without it being too busy. This slide shows how you can use images to get a point across really quickly. These images support the heading and drive the point home in a way that could not be done with text alone. In this particular case, Kobe beef is really just beef that is grown in a place called Kobe in Japan. However, in Swahili, Kobe means tortoise, and this could actually create a negative local message with people thinking that they are eating tortoise. Now, moving on to the next slide, the message is unclear. The heading shows that it will be about solutions, but the body indicates that there are multiple approaches to fixing this solution. The slide then starts with the heading of solution and lists 4 solutions to solve the challenges that the restaurant is facing. There is a lot of information on this slide, and this will result in the person looking at the slide simply reading the text instead of listening to the presentation. Here are the key challenges with this slide. There are multiple messages, there's too much information in the body, and there's not a basic color scheme. This is an example of an ineffective slide that has too much information. Now, the message on this next slide is that there are 4 specific ways to improve the overall performance of the company. The objects give specific evidence about what needs to be changed to make things more successful. This slide definitely has less text and makes each area that needs to be addressed stand out. The following slides will discuss each component of this new plan. The main message is that the company should purchase products in Kenya if possible. This slide is using the same font and the same gray color scheme from the title and from slide 2. The slide is only talking about supply chain and has minimal text. The image supports the heading and it tells all of the key information in one bullet point. The main message in this slide is that there needs to be a full-time chef trainee that is based in Nairobi. There is minimal text, the same font and color scheme and a picture that complements the text are used. The text gives some information but does not tell the whole story. In the next slide, the main message is that the number of branches need to be consolidated. This slide uses objects again to support the heading. Each box shows the locations that will be cut in order to consolidate the business. The main message is rebranding Kobe beef in this slide. This slide uses the same formatting in slide 5, which people who are in the presentation will actually remember. They will be able to connect the challenge that was raised there and then see how they are going to create a solution here. Now, let us review the key points of how to format a great presentation. These are the building blocks that will enable you to have a strong presentation. There must only be one message per slide. Slides should not be filled with information. Instead, break down each slide into a clear message. Minimal text on slides. Minimal text means that the audience focuses on what you're saying instead of reading each slide. Then use text and objects instead of text alone. Each of the slides uses objects to highlight the text. The boxes indicate where your eyes should go. Then, use a simple header to summarize your main message. Use the information in the body of the slide to illustrate the message. A simple graph or picture is more powerful than text more often than not. Use basic color schemes. Keep it consistent and standard throughout your presentation. Remember, less is more, and that is the secret to a great PowerPoint. Be consistent with the look and feel of your PowerPoint and don't try to add too many things. Don't get too fancy. Animations and transitions detract from your presentation more often than they actually help. I hope you've learned something and that this will be useful while you're creating your own PowerPoints.